Hey everyone, welcome back to Ganai's F1 News. What an absolute cracker at Silverstone today. According to motorsport.com, Lewis Hamilton has taken sprint pole position at the British Grand Prix, and it couldn't have been closer. The Ferrari driver absolutely delivered when it mattered, setting a time that was just 0.011 seconds quicker than his Mercedes successor, championship leader Kimi Antonelli. This is Hamilton's first sprint pole since the Chinese Grand Prix last year, and he did it in absolutely brutal conditions. Antonelli led much of the practice session earlier. He was looking super sharp, but Hamilton came through with the perfect lap when it counted. Max Verstappen lines up third, followed by Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and Lando Norris rounding out the top six. It was a tight qualifying session, and Hamilton even admitted he was surprised by Ferrari's pace after they'd been downplaying their expectations all week. What a way to start the weekend at his home race. Now, let's talk about something genuinely exciting coming from the McLaren camp. Zak Brown, the team's CEO, has made a bold statement that's getting everyone talking. Speaking to Sky Sports analyst Will Buxton on the Up to Speed podcast, as reported by motorsport.com, Brown insisted that McLaren absolutely has the capacity to overtake its rivals and produce the fastest car on the Formula One grid before the current regulation cycle wraps up. That's a huge claim, but here's the thing. McLaren's already proven they can do massive turnarounds. The team went from being the 9th fastest team to becoming Constructors' champions, so Brown's got the track record to back this up. He's citing that dramatic recovery as evidence that the infrastructure, the people, and the mentality are all there to achieve another spectacular comeback. Now, McLaren obviously isn't the fastest right now, but with the new power unit coming and some serious development planned, Brown seems genuinely confident. It's the kind of statement that shows real belief in the organization. And speaking of McLaren, let's hear from their reigning world champion. Lando Norris has been reflecting on what it felt like to finally achieve his maiden Formula One championship, and according to motorsport.com, he's revealing how it's actually changed him as a driver. On the F1 Beyond the Grid podcast, Norris explained that securing his title has made him a much more relaxed and confident driver overall. After dedicating his entire career to reaching that milestone, we're talking years of dedication and mental preparation. Actually getting there has unlocked a completely new level of confidence in him. The mental shift has been significant. When you've been chasing that one goal for your whole professional life, and you finally cross the line, it clearly gives you a different perspective. Norris isn't putting pressure on himself quite the same way anymore, and that's showing up in how he approaches his racing. It's a really interesting psychological aspect of championship winning that we don't always hear about. When Zak Brown first arrived at McLaren, the team wasn't just performing poorly on track. There was a serious cultural problem brewing behind the scenes. According to motorsport.com, Brown has opened up about the massive overhaul needed to transform the Woking outfit from an underperforming team into the Constructors' champions. The issue? A toxic blame culture had developed within the organization. You know the kind. When things go wrong, people start pointing fingers instead of pulling together to fix it. That's absolutely poisonous for a racing team. Brown was determined to remove that mindset completely. And what's clear is that this cultural shift was just as important as the technical improvements. You can't build a championship team if your people don't trust each other and are spending energy on blame rather than solutions. This transformation, which Brown detailed on Will Buxton's Up to Speed podcast, shows that sometimes the biggest wins happen off the track. Creating a unified, accountable culture where everyone's focused on the same goal. That's what allowed McLaren to turn things around so dramatically. Okay, this is just brilliant. Sometimes the best F1 stories aren't about on-track performance. They're about the incredible history and passion surrounding this sport. Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team principal, absolutely turned heads arriving at Silverstone in one seriously special ride. According to motorsport.com, the Mercedes boss pulled up in a rare classic Mercedes-Benz 300 SL that's estimated to be worth around $3.5 million. Now, Wolff and his wife, Susie, who manages the F1 Academy, are regularly spotted in Monaco driving the iconic 300 SL Roadster convertible version. But for Silverstone, Wolff selected the hardtop predecessor, which is even more exclusive. This isn't just some guy showing off a nice car. This is someone who genuinely appreciates automotive history and engineering excellence. The 300SL is a legendary machine, and seeing it at a modern F1 paddock creates this amazing connection between the sport's glorious past and its high-tech present. It's the kind of moment that reminds us why so many people fall in love with Formula One. Alright, so here's something entertaining. LEGO has partnered with F1 again for the Drivers' Parade at Silverstone, and according to motorsport.com, they've built 22 individual mini go-karts made from a staggering 28,000 bricks each. Every driver gets their own LEGO car, limited to a top speed of 25 kilometers per hour. Sounds fun, right? Well, not everyone's on board. Max Verstappen has publicly criticized the whole concept, saying that drivers shouldn't look like kids or clowns during the parade. He's got a point. These are the world's elite racing drivers, and some are questioning whether this particular activation fits with the professional image of Formula One. Hamilton also expressed some concerns about the concept. Now, look, these partnerships bring value to the sport, and LEGO's activation was actually pretty creative from an engineering standpoint. But Verstappen's raising an interesting question about maintaining the prestige and professional standards of the championship. It's the kind of pushback that'll probably shape what F1 does with entertainment activations going forward. There's some spicy drama brewing between the team principals. According to motorsport.com, Ferrari boss Vasseur has launched a fiery response to Toto Wolff, who expressed surprise at Ferrari's aggressive pace of bringing upgrades throughout the 2026 season. Wolff basically suggested it was unusual, almost implying it might be dodgy. Well, Vasseur absolutely wasn't having it. He interpreted Wolff's comments as accusations of cheating, and he made it clear that Ferrari's strategy is completely legitimate. Ferrari has indeed been bringing continuous development to the car across the first 8 rounds, as the Scuderia tries to close the gap on the runaway championship leader. That's not cheating. That's just smart engineering and resource management. Vasseur's response suggests there's some real tension there between the two teams, and it highlights how intensely competitive this championship is. When you're talking about upgrade strategies and technical approaches, things can get heated pretty quickly when one team questions another's methods.